Number 20, Oklahoma State taking on number 23, Kansas State. Oklahoma State trying to bounce back after losing their Big 12 opener against Utah. Haven't started 0-2 in Big 12 play since Mike Gundy's first season back in 05. Kansas State looking for a third straight win against a ranked opponent for the first time since 2012. Opening drive of the game, Avery Johnson fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, and he's going to the house. Wildcats up 7-0. Caps a 14-play, 75-yard drive. Second quarter, Cowboys down 7-3. Alan Bowman hands it off, gets it back for a short flea flicker to Dejon Stribling, and there he goes down the sideline. 77-yard house call. Oklahoma State up 10-7. Bowman, fifth straight game with a touchdown pass. Later in the quarter, K-State down 13-7. Johnson floats it to the end zone to a wide-open Garrett Oakley for the score. Wildcats take a 14-13 lead, and that is when the Wildcats took off. Later in the quarter, after an Oklahoma State fumble, Johnson deep down the field for Jace Brown wide open. He walks in a 55-yard score. Kansas State up 21-13 at halftime. Avery Johnson, 15 or more yards on his completions. Week 4 BYU, he had 2. Saturday, first half, 4. Early third quarter, same score. That's DJ Giddens taking the handoff up the middle, finds the opening on the outside, and he's gone 66 yards for the score. Kansas State up 28-13. Giddens 15 carries for 187 and the touchdown. The 66-yarder, the longest rush of his career. Later in the quarter, Johnson fakes the run and lobs it over the top to Willancio. Touchdown. Kansas State up 35-13. Johnson, a career-high third touchdown pass of the game. 24 seconds left in the third. Bowman lobs it to the end zone. That's picked. What an interception that was. Jacob Parrish somehow coming up with that. What a catch. Second interception of the game for Bowman, and it was costly. Ensuing drive, Johnson escaping pressure. A little Pat Mahomes in him there with that. Takes off, and fifth total touchdown of the game as he scampers that one in, ties a career-high 35 unanswered points, put Kansas State up 42-13. They go on to win it 42-20. 3 straight wins versus AP-ranked opponents for the first time since 2012. They finished 11-2 and made the Fiesta Bowl that year. 9th straight win following a loss under Chris Kleiman. And for Oklahoma State, first 0-2 start in conference play since 2005. They started 0-5 back then, Mike Gundy's first season with the team. All right, so let's get some reaction to this with our guys in the studio, Damien Harris and Cardale Jones alongside me. So obviously, you know, this game was tight early, but Kansas State really found their groove here, Damien, and just exploded for this one. Big, big win for them.
Shout out to Avery Johnson. He had a huge day, and he was obviously the difference maker in this game. He threw the ball well. He ran the ball well. He commanded this offense. They were extremely efficient. They drove the ball. They hit big plays. They were to drive it down through the red zone, score points. So hats off to Avery Johnson and his performance for Kansas State today.
This is the Avery Johnson they recruited. This is the kid they feel extremely comfortable with, taking over their program, letting their previous starter, Will Howard, leave in a transfer portal. Don't get me wrong, Will was the guy that led this team to a Big 12 championship 2 years prior. So for them to have this faith in Avery Johnson and take over the ham, clearly they've seen something special in him, and I think he showed it today. DJ
Giddens had himself a big day, 15 carries, 187.
That's a day at the office.
We were talking about Ollie Gordon, but Giddens was the one who shows out today.
I mean, he made the most of his opportunities. He went out and he played well. He ran physical. He hit the holes. He hit the big plays, and that's what you can do whenever you have a dynamic rushing attack. Obviously, paired in company with Avery Johnson, is you're not one-dimensional. And I felt like in the BYU game, they were one-dimensional, and they depended too much on Avery Johnson, and he wasn't able to respond to that type of pressure. So with the day that Giddens had, the day that even Avery Johnson had running the ball, it's great to be well-balanced. It's great to have a rushing attack and a passing attack. That way you can hit the defense from multiple angles, from different viewpoints, different perspectives, and it makes for a successful day like we saw today.
Yeah, it's hard to win a game when you're one-dimensional. Last week versus BYU, they got down earlier, was made them one-dimensional, and tried to play some catch-up and want to throw the ball 45, 50 times a game. That's not going to usually be the recipe that win anybody a lot of games. So for them to go into this game and be as balanced as they were, and not just with Avery Johnson getting it done in the air on the ground, but the run game. Everybody's getting involved, blocks downfield. The receivers have big blocks downfield, and the big guys up front control the line of scrimmage from the beginning to the end of the game.
Oklahoma State 2-6 in their last 8 Big 12 opening games as they get things rolling. For Kansas State, at Colorado, next. I mean, when you're looking at this schedule, at Colorado, at West Virginia, then versus Kansas. So, I mean, this schedule kind of lays out nicely with the big boost off of this win.
It does, and this is a game that you obviously build a lot of confidence off of. Coming off a loss to BYU, you got a good Oklahoma State team that you were playing today, and you came out, you handled business. So with a favorable rest of their schedule, I don't see them having any problems building off this win and just continuing on the same track. Let Avery Johnson run the ball. Don't make him just use his arm. Let him be dual. Let him use his legs just as efficiently. Keep the run game going with Giddens. And if they do that, they shouldn't have any problem running through the rest of the schedule.
Yeah, I think this is a big confidence boost for a team like this, Kansas State, because not only getting into Big 12 play, not only having a great win versus a great opponent, another rank. So I think all of this plays into their resume at the end of the season if they can ultimately find their way into the Big 12 championship game. Now, don't get me wrong, I still got Utah winning this conference, but if they put together an impressive resume with some great conference wins and some great ranked wins, they can make that argument of still being a team that make the playoffs outside of not being a conference champ.
Oklahoma State get West Virginia next, and then they go to BYU and Baylor. And we know what the way that BYU is certainly playing nowadays. As you take a look at the Wildcats' schedule, and you see that Colorado coming up next. In terms of the team comparison between the two, look at it. I mean, they put up over 1,000 yards of offense.
That's a big offensive day for both teams. Unfortunately, one's got to win and one's got to lose. Kansas State had the better day, so they come out on top.
I mean, the difference makers, right? The proof is in the pudding. I mean, 300 rushing yards to 126. I mean, you're not going to win many games as Oklahoma State when you give it up 300 yards on the ground.
And 300 yards rushing more than what they had passing. So that's also a big key. And we mentioned DJ Giddens had the big day today, rushing for 187 and the touchdown.